but I'm not done yet, and I'm nowhere close to where I'm going to be. Thank you all for being a part of my journey, as I hope to be a part of yours. This is just the beginning. So with all of that, for the next 3 to 4 years, my story will continue at Kansas State University.
Linkon Cure from Goodland High School, the 5-star tight end, is headed to K-State. The decision made yesterday by Cure. And a very highly anticipated decision. Obviously, a 5-star athlete is number 2 ranked athlete in Kansas, according to 24/7 Sports. Number 2 ranked tight end in all of the country, according to 24/7 Sports. So, again, and that's more than just that. Those are the ones that I looked at, and I know for sure off the top of my head. Linkon Cure, Goodland product, headed to K-State. We're going to hear another thing from him here momentarily. Also, coming up here on the Sports Ticket today, we'll talk to you about the Royals, the NBA free agency period continuing hot and heavy, and some trades happening that are part of the free agency and things that go along with that. And then the U.S. soccer team with some disappointment in Kansas City last night, and an update on Wimbledon in men's tennis. All coming up here on this Sports Ticket on Katy Country 94, brought to you by Kiever Brothers Automotive, your home team for fast and friendly auto repair. You can find them south of the courthouse there in Beloit, or visit them online at KieverBrothers.com. All right, as we said, by the way, this will be a shorter Sports Ticket. Have some things I'll be doing here, so and there's not quite as much to talk about today since the Royals didn't play last night, so kind of kills a little bit of the vibe during the summer on the sports show, right, when the Royals aren't in action. And yeah, so we'll give you updates on the Royals, though, coming back tonight as they get ready to take another shot and take on the Tampa Bay Rays, start a 3-game series here this evening. So that's a look at what's going on here with Kansas City. We'll talk about that here momentarily. Let's get back to Linkon Cure, though. By the way, results and records and stats and everything from the Shrine Bowl over the weekend can be found at ncksports.com. And you can find the Kansas Sports Hall of Fame inductees that we talked about yesterday posted at sunflowerstateradio.com as well, katycountry94.com. You can find those stories there. Again, Kevin Saunders from Downs has been elected to be inducted into the Kansas Sports Hall of Fame, as has Annette Wiles from Hunter Sylvan Grove High School. Fort Hays State, she'll be going into the Kansas Sports Hall of Fame as well. Linkon Cure from Goodland, Kansas, a 5-star prospect. Composite rating is 5-star, 98 rating composite, over 98. The 30th ranked national prospect in the composite, according to 24/7 Sports. As far as 24/7 by their lonesome, he is the 26th ranked prospect. So he's continued to climb in that area. Back October 17th of 2023, he was the 152nd ranked prospect in the country, and then just continued to climb on up, got to the top 40, and then right now at 30 on July 1st is his highest ranking in the composite ranking in history, and his highest ranking for 24/7 Sports at number 26 nationally of all players in the country. So he is obviously a guy that's continued to climb up the charts and continue to get a lot of looks. As you look at his list of interest, he had offers from so many places. I mean, you name it in Division I, people are looking at him and trying to go after him. Some of these teams give offers, but they don't try to recruit quite as hard. And so, it'll be a different look. You'll see all these offers, and it's like, well, why did he choose this school over that school? Well, it's probably because the offer's there, but they're not going as hard because they probably know that he's not coming, or whatever the case may be. But initially offers from Alabama, Auburn, Colorado, Duke, Florida, Iowa, Iowa State, Louisville, Miami, Michigan, Michigan State, Missouri, Nebraska, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Penn State, Purdue, Tennessee, Texas, UCLA, USC, Vanderbilt, Wisconsin. All of those folks had offers out to Linkon Cure, the tight end from Goodland, 6'6", 220, very athletic. People, if you're with the state championship tournament in basketball this year, probably had a chance to see him play for Goodland, helping lead them to a runner-up finish at 3A State. If you saw him at regional track and field in Beloit, he was a state champion hurdler, just one of the most outstanding athletes in this state of Kansas, maybe at the top of the list in all classes. Who knows? I've not seen everybody and all the athletes, obviously, that you see in Wichita and Kansas City areas, but this guy, Linkon Cure, is a big deal. And for Kansas State and Chris Kleiman, it is a big get. When you have Linkon Cure coming in, again, it's not this next year. He'll be a senior at Goodland, class of 2025. He'll come in then the next year after that and be a part of the Kansas State football team. So K-State has, a core foundation of Kansas kids that are kind of the forefront and the face of the university and their football program right now. And it starts with Avery Johnson right now coming from Mays. And then, Dylan Edwards hitting the transfer portal and becoming part of this thing when we thought maybe he would be right away, and then had the whole, backing out of commitments twice and ended up in Colorado for 1 year and then coming back home to Kansas. He's from Derby, Avery Johnson from Mays, and now you get a Western Kansas kid and Linkon Cure from Goodland to join the fray there. And man, I'm excited about him coming in. It'll be very, very fun to see what he can do and the success that he can have as far as what he could do with this K-State football team, because, again, they're hitting the recruiting trail. They're doing a very good job. The Final Four for Linkon Cure was Kansas, Texas A&M, Oregon, and Kansas State. Those are the ones that I didn't mention when I said he had offers from other schools. KU, Andy Kudelnicki was recruiting him and really trying to get him in. His brother Landon Cure, Lincoln's brother Landon, actually transferred from Fort Hays to Kansas. So Landon's at KU, but Linkon goes to K-State, so that'll be a fun sibling rivalry there. I'm not going to say anything bad about either one of them. There's a lot of people that were, making fun jabs and jokes, and Lincoln's sister didn't like it on Twitter. I can tell that, but so I'm not going to get into any of that. But it will be a fun family rivalry, having Linkon at K-State, Landon at Kansas, and so it's a great get for the Wildcats and Chris Kleiman. And Linkon Cure gave his thoughts on why he chose K-State and what the reasoning was that stood out.
When you can't really explain the feeling, but when you know. So had that feeling at K-State, and throughout the week, I just kind of cherished that moment. Obviously thought other things through, but that was the moment I kind of decided, this is where I can have the biggest impact as a person and not just as a player.
So again, that's Linkon Cure from Goodland, committed to Kansas State, and it'll be fun to see how he fills in and competes with this team. Again, he does have a senior year coming up. His junior year, he caught 42 passes for 946 yards and 14 touchdowns. Again, a three-time state champion hurdler. Helped lead Goodland to runner-up, finish 3A state basketball this past winter. Linkon Cure's the real deal. And K-State fans, I know, are happy to have him. One of the things I say, as always, this looks like a pretty sure bet and a good deal, and it's going to happen, but this is still just a commitment. Linkon Cure, has not signed on the dotted line. So that's one thing I do obviously want to pass along. He's not signed a letter of intent. This is a commitment, and he has another year at Goodland in high school. You never wish anything bad to happen, but there's still another year before, well, probably not a year. I would guess he'll probably come in the spring. I don't know what his, class load would look like. But Leighton Cure, I don't know why it's called him Landon. It's Leighton Cure from Goodland. I for some reason had Landon on my mind, and it was throwing me off. But Leighton is the name of the brother for Linkon Cure. I was saying Landon, and I was like, I don't think that's right. Leighton Cure was on the Fort Hays football team last year. Now he's added to the tight end room at Kansas. But again, Linkon Cure is headed to K-State. When you have all the names are L, it's confusing, and I'm trying to put it all together, and I didn't have that pulled up. And so, Leighton Cure going to KU, Linkon Cure going to Kansas State. And again, like I said, letter of intent process will come. He will sign that likely in the early period in December and get that all taken care of and done once his high school football season's over here this year in 2024 for Goodland. And, he'll be a very welcome addition to the Kansas State football team. Linkon Cure, the 5-star tight end, choosing K-State yesterday. The sports ticket brought to you by Kiever Brothers Automotive in Beloit. The Royals are back in action tonight after having last night and yesterday off. They will start a 3-game series with the Tampa Bay Rays coming up here tonight. The Royals Again, took 3 out of 4 against the Guardians, and in a good spot heading into this 3-game set for 4th of July week. And then they'll take another day off and head out to, actually, they don't take a day off. They head out to Colorado on Friday to start a 3-game series with the Rockies in Denver. But this is where they're at right now with the Rays. Tampa Bay is 42-42. The Royals are 47-39. Brady Singer 4-4 with a 3.12 ERA, and Zach Little will be the Singer starting on the mound for the Royals. Zach Little will start for the Rays. He is 2-5 with a 4.17 ERA. So let's look at what the Royals got going on. Not a whole lot to talk about in the major leagues as far as that's concerned, since the Royals were off. All-star voting is being done and finished up this week, so Bobby Witt Jr. and Salvador Perez are on that ballot as the top 2 at their position. So there's a final vote there for Salvi at catcher and Bobby Witt Jr. at shortstop to get into the All-Star game. I would guess that they will both be All-Stars. I would hope Bobby Witt Jr. is an All-Star. I would guess that Seth Lugo is definitely an All-Star. Depending on when he pitches next and time frame of whether he'll actually pitch in an All-Star game or not. But Seth Lugo's definitely put up All-Star numbers. He's put up numbers that weren't possibly being the Cy Young this year. So obviously he will be, I would hope, an All-Star selection from the Royals. And then, again, Bobby Witt Jr. and Salvador Perez would be the next 2. And I don't think anybody after that would probably be in heavy consideration as an All-Star for the Royals. So, again, baseball, a bit slow for our teams, and honestly, there were only 3 games in the entire league last night. Astros beat the Blue Jays 3-1. The Mets 10-inning win over the Nationals 9-7, and the Rockies 1-10 over the Brewers 8-7. So of 3 games, 2 of them went to 10 innings last night in Major League Baseball. So again, Royals back in action tonight, 7-10. First game in a 3-game series against the Tampa Bay Rays, 42-42. Royals are 47-39, and currently in 3rd place in the American League Central. Just a bit behind the Twins for 2nd, and the Guardians still have the lead in the AL Central standings. 9:22 here on Katy Country 94 on the Sports Ticket. We'll take another time out. When we come back, we'll go over the rest of what's going on in the sporting world. NBA free agency going on, some big signings, a new richest contract in NBA history signed. We'll talk about that, other free agent deals, and then also the U.S. soccer team, a tough loss there at Arrowhead Stadium last night, and then Wimbledon in tennis, all coming up here after the break. Sports Ticket brought to you by Kiever Brothers Automotive in Beloit.
I'm Elijah at Kiever Brothers Automotive in Beloit. Did you know that we sell tires? We also perform alignments and all the other services that go along with them. We handle all the top brands. Extras like road hazard warranty, complimentary tire rotations, and complimentary tire repairs are available for purchase on most tires. Right now, we are offering $80 off when you buy a set of 4. Call or stop by Kiever Brothers Automotive for fast, friendly tire services today. Find us just south of the courthouse in Beloit or on the web at KieverBrothers.com.
Dusty Donnett's back in with you as the Sports Ticket continues from Kiever Brothers Automotive in Beloit. I know there's a full, here we go. There's a full list of things that are happening in NBA free agency that we can talk about here, and quite a bit happened last night, and after we had talked yesterday on the show. Our last look was obviously before 10 o'clock Central Time here, so really late there yesterday. Drew Eubanks, free agent center, agreed to a 2-year, $10 million deal with the Utah Jazz. Derek White, who had a really good postseason with the Celtics and helped lead them to the NBA Finals and a championship in the end. He's agreed to a 4-year, $125.9, almost $126 million contract extension. It includes a player option. And then Klay Thompson is planning to join the Dallas Mavericks on a 3-year, $50 million contract with a player option for the final year. There was talks that it's a sign and trade deal with Dallas, and there were talks that let's see if it says here who Dallas is getting. So Josh Green will go to Charlotte in this sign and trade deal, multi-team sign and trade. It's the reason they do that is just to clear out cash and make it all work with the salary cap. I don't understand how all that works, and I'm not trying to get into it either, to be completely honest with you. But Klay Thompson is going to the Mavericks, 3 years, $50 million in a sign and trade deal that happened there yesterday. There was talk that the Lakers could possibly, or the Warriors could possibly have been able to get D'Angelo Russell from the Lakers if they would have traded him there. And I don't know if they just didn't want to trade him within their division, and obviously the Western Conference, it didn't matter there because they traded him to Dallas. But, you know, a lot of people make fun of the Warriors for not actually pulling the trigger on that trade, but you know, one of the things that people don't understand is, like, why I understand that you're going to get something back, but why would a team try to help another team that they're, you know, at times directly competing with during the season in the Pacific Division? So it's like, well, yeah, that's a good idea. By the way, the Pacific Division was so good last year. Every team made it at least to the postseason play-in tournament. At least to the play-in tournament. That's crazy. I never really broke it down like this until looking at it right now. But so the Clippers were 51-31, Suns were 49-33. Obviously, none of these teams made deep runs and had a chance to win a championship. Kings were 46-36, and then the Warriors also went 46-36. But in Golden State, obviously the system and the dynasty and everything like that has definitely started to break down, and really kind of already has. It sounds like they had an opportunity to maybe move Chris Paul in a different way. At one point, I think during the season last year, if I read that right, you know, there's people that are talking about them and kind of making fun of the way that they've handled the things that are going on here during the off season. But to be honest with you, again, it's like, okay, yeah, I get where you're coming from, but are we helping the team here by doing this? Like, what are we bringing together from the aspect of, if I'm the Warriors and I trade Klay Thompson to the Lakers, sure, I might get D'Angelo Russell, but I'm also trading a guy to the Lakers to try to help them win too, and you know, all those things are probably going through their minds. They ended up not making that trade with the Lakers, so it says that they gave up Klay Thompson for 2 second-round picks, and obviously the cash probably is involved with that and things of that nature from the Mavericks, despite the Lakers offering D'Angelo Russell. So, you know, I don't know what that deal was. Jordan Poole, they traded to get Chris Paul, meaning they gave up away Poole for absolutely nothing, basically, effectively salary dumping a 25-year-old for a 39-year-old, who they then salary dumped onto waivers. So, again, Chris Paul waived there. They also, this says they forced Andrew Wiggins to withdraw from his Olympics debut with Canada, seemingly to prevent injury and preserve his trade value, but when presented with an opportunity to trade Andrew Wiggins for Zach LaVine, they declined. So Wiggins to the Bulls for LaVine, they declined that. And there's also a clear conflict of interest, they say, with Steve Kerr serving as Team USA's coach and likely playing a role in holding Wiggins out of a dangerous Canadian team. So there's a lot of people that are kind of making assumptions about what's happening with the Warriors. I'm just reading that from something that was put out there. I don't necessarily believe in all that. I've not done enough research to understand what people thought about that or what's actually going on in that situation. But again, it's kind of crazy that the Warriors have, you know, they've been so good for so long, and the dynasty starts dropping, and Klay Thompson's the next part of that is going somewhere else. So he'll be in Dallas, 3 years, $50 million, a couple draft picks, second-round picks, it sounds like, heading to the Warriors in that trade, and that's not even part of the story that I'm reading here. Well, it might be a little bit further up once I have a chance to kind of scroll up and look at the rest of the story. That's one of the bad things about reading this timeline, is that they just throw things out as quick as they can, and they don't really Dallas sending 2 second-round picks to Golden State, of which one of which it owns. It's its own 2031 second rounder. So it looks like that part of the trade with Charlotte is where that other second round pick is coming from, with the trade happening and an extra player being added to that, and an extra team being added to that trade there yesterday. All right, the Boston Celtics, we talked to you about it, Derek White, and the fact that he had signed a contract extension. But the biggest news there yesterday in NBA free agency was the contract extension signed by Jason Tatum. The 26-year-old forward is now the richest player in NBA history as far as the largest contract in NBA history. He agreed to a 5-year, $310 million contract extension that includes a player option and a trade kicker. The Celtics also agreed to an extension with Derek White, as we mentioned, so the defending champs now have every member of their starting lineup under contract through at least 2025-26. So, again, this is big news here with Jason Tatum reaching that huge deal, 5 years, $314 million. He helped lead Boston to their 18th NBA title. He averaged 22 points, just under 8 rebounds and 7 assists in the NBA Finals, and has had obviously a very good career. The Celtics giving Jaylen Brown $285 million on his last contract, and now the biggest deal of $314 million to Jason Tatum. And in that, we talked about every member of the starting lineup will be there through at least 2025-26 based on contracts. They're under contract. I can't say that they'll be there because obviously there could be some trades that happen and things of that nature. So Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Drew Holiday, and Kristaps Porzingis will total $198.5 million just in their starting five in 2025-26 if that stays right where it's at. Jason Tatum's a 5-time All-Star, 4-time All-NBA selection. Obviously he is one of the best in the league right now, and now being paid as one of the best. 5 years, $314 million in the deal for Jason Tatum to return to the Celtics. So, again, NBA offseason action will continue, and we continue to keep you up to date on that. Donovan Mitchell has agreed to sign a 3-year, $150.3 million maximum contract extension with the Cavaliers. That just came out this morning, and so he's headed there, or he's staying there, I should say, with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Donovan Mitchell and Cleveland on the rise. Had a good season last year. Decided to fire their coach, J.B. Bickerstaff, despite that good season. They're moving in a different direction and ready to go for another year, and Donovan Mitchell is locked in for a 3-year deal here. That includes a player option for 27-28, gives Mitchell a chance to satisfy the NBA's 10-year service criteria, which would allow him to pursue a 5-year extension in 2027 that could be worth more than $380 million. So a lot of money, a lot of numbers being thrown out there. It is insane, the amount of money that these guys make. But again, it's relative to the terms of what everybody else in their profession is making, and that's why they're making so much money. And, you know, on a grand scheme of things, most people would say that there is not anybody that deserves that much money. But again, it's relative to their profession and what they're doing, what they're making. So again, that's where we're at with the NBA. Free agency continuing to roll on here this week. Most of it will probably, you know, the biggest deals will probably be wrapped up here in the next 2, 3, 4 days. That's usually how that goes. And then, you know, there might be somebody that stays around and gets stuck and we'll figure it out. And I think I said that Klay Thompson might be one that would maybe take a little bit longer than this, but it didn't. He's off to Dallas and going to be a part of the Mavericks, who made it to the NBA Finals, losing in 5 to the Celtics. Speaking of the Celtics, by the way, the Celtics are up for sale 2 weeks after the team won the championship. This is just the story from Tim Bontemps from ESPN. Celtics majority ownership group led by Wick Grusbeck is planning to make the franchise available for sale. Grusbeck and partner Steve Pagluca. Paglucia? I don't really know how to say the name. They led a group that purchased the team in 2002 for $360 million. Since then, franchise valuations have skyrocketed, with the latest teams to sell controlling shares where the Suns went for $4 billion to Matt Ishbia in February of 2023. The Bucks with Jimmy and Dee Haslam paying $3.5 billion several weeks later, and the Dallas Mavericks with the Adelson and Dumont families paying $3.5 billion in December. The Celtics are obviously one of the most iconic franchises in professional sports. They have an NBA record now, 18 NBA titles after winning the last one. They trail only the New York Yankees and Montreal Canadiens as all North American professional sports leagues with the amount of championships they've won. And in a statement announcing the decision Monday, the Celtics revealed that the managing board of ownership group expects to sell a majority interest in the team either this year or early next year, and that it expects Whit Grusbeck to remain as the governor of the team until the second closing in 2028. So if you've got this story really doesn't say what the valuation might be, but I would think if the Suns went for $4 billion, the Celtics are worth more than that. So if you have north of $4 billion and want to get a group together, you can buy the Boston Celtics. Oh, man. I definitely will pass on that, right? Even if I had that much money, it's like, man, that's a lot of money to spend on a sports franchise, even if I'm really interested in it and I think it's a good investment. The good investment was in 2002 when you can flip what I say they paid $360 million in 2002 for the team. And I realize inflation has raised that price up. And it would be different today, but you're still making an insane amount of profit if you can sell that for $360 million. And we're talking billions and billions of dollars as $1 billion, like Dr. Evil would say. Yeah, it's definitely a hell of a flip there for the Celtics ownership group if they are indeed able to sell the team. So again, the Celtics picking up the championship, and then 2 weeks later we are on the market. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we can make off of this championship team while the iron is hot. Buy low, sell high, right? Sell high. You can't sell any higher than the world champions, as they would call it, but the NBA champions, as it's definitely called, I don't think you can sell anything higher than that. That's the peak of where you're at with selling. So, again, that's where we're at with NBA free agency continuing, and the Celtics possibly selling and having new ownership. All right, we'll wrap up here with some soccer and tennis. I don't normally talk soccer on here, but the U.S. men's national team crashed out of the Copa America in the group stages on Monday. They lost 1-0 to Uruguay at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. The tournament hosts played with plenty of intensity throughout the match and narrowly outdid Uruguay in possession, but even an encouraging first half showed signs of trouble. The U.S. limited Uruguay to 0 shots on target. They just took 1 shot before halftime. Troubling figure for a team that is in desperate need of goals for the U.S., and they didn't get what they needed. And they ended up losing, and simultaneously, I think it was from the win from Panama happened. Yeah, I don't have that right in front of me, but it's so hard for me to understand some of the stories that they're writing about soccer too. You try to keep in check and try to see. Panama is the team that finished in second there with 6 points. The U.S. had just 3 points, 0 goal differential. Uruguay had 7 points plus 7 differential. Panama beat Bolivia 3-1 at the same time. The U.S. lost to Uruguay, effectively eliminating them from the group stage there, and they're done in the Copa America in the group stages. So, one of the things that was talked about for sure was the officiating and refereeing. It was a constant spot of bother for both teams throughout the match. Peru's Kevin Ortega seemed unwilling to keep a chippy game at bay, handed out 3 yellow cards, but let several big challenges slide, and also made an unusual choice by choosing to play advantage in Uruguay's favor while handing a yellow card to the U.S.'s Richards in the first half. Several players also picked up injuries because of the physical nature of the game. Uruguay's Maximiliano Arroyo exited the game on a stretcher and a neck brace, while U.S.'s Folarin Balogun also came off before the half with a hip issue. American Joe Scally also got hit before the break following a tackle from Darwin Nunez, but managed to play much of the second half. So injuries, a lot of questionable calls that they didn't like. I know that was a point of contention throughout the match that I was seeing on Twitter. I didn't watch this thing all the way through. the camera angle was terrible at the start of the match. It was like you were actually sitting in the nosebleeds while you were watching it on TV. That's how high the camera was and how far they had it panned out. I'm like, if you're going to use that height, go ahead and zoom in at least. I want to act like I'm sitting here watching the game at the stadium while it's on my TV in the comfort of my own home. And they finally, I got to think there was like a technical difficulty, because then they kind of switched to the camera that you might see for a football game where it might be placed at Arrowhead Stadium. So, and I get that these are bigger stadiums, so you're going to be a little bit further away probably with your cameras and how you would set up than you would be in like an MLS-sized stadium, and everything looks kind of clean and clear there. But, man, that was rough trying to watch that last night. The U.S. men's national team, the result, again, couple of Panama's eventual 3-1 win sent the U.S. packing earlier than they had anticipated. Tournament hosts were expected to reach the quarterfinals after being placed in what many consider to be a favorable group, failing to truly impress in any of their 3 group stage games. Copa America was meant to serve as a measuring stick for the U.S. men's national team heading into 2026. It has been forever since they have not made it out of the group stages in the Copa America or the Gold Cup, but that's where we're at right now as the World Cup again comes to the U.S. in 2026. Kansas City will be part of many cities in the country hosting that in the World Cup in 2026, but that's what will be next for the U.S. is they're out in the Copa America here in the group stages. I don't know a lot more about soccer, so I can't really break down and analyze that like I might want to, but it just is what it is. Wimbledon is underway in tennis. First round, Jannik Sinner winning in 4 sets yesterday against Yannick Hoffman, an unseeded player. Jannik Sinner moving on to the next round. Carlos Alcaraz, the 3 seed, picked up a straight set win. Daniil Medvedev, a 3-set win, straight sets as well. Moving on, Casper Ruud winning in straight sets. He's the 8 seed. Medvedev, by the way, the 5 seed. And Grigor Dimitrov, the 10 seed. Tommy Paul, the number 12 seed, both moved on. The biggest upset on day one, Sebastian Baez lost in straight sets to Brandon Nakashima, an American unseeded player, 2-3 and 4, 6-2, 6-3, 6-4. Nakashima moving on, and Denis Shapovalov winning over 19 seed Nicolas Jarry. Gael Monfils defeated the 22 seed Adrian Manarino, fellow Frenchman, and so those were the upsets that happened. Francis Tiafoe, the American 29 seed, lost the first 2 sets, but got back and won the next 3 to move on. On the women's side there in round 1, Coco Gauff, a 6-1, 6-2 straight set win over Caroline Dolehide from the U.S. as well. Jasmine Paolini, the 7 seed, a straight set win. And then a 3-set loss for Xingqin Wen, the 8 seed. Maria Sakkari, the number 9 seed, straight sets moving on. Madison Keys, the 12, moved on as well. They're actually underway today. As far as the matches are concerned, let's see if we have Hubert Hurkacz, the 7 seed, has already moved on, so he stays alive on the men's side. And on the women's side, Elena Rybakina, a straight set win. The 4 seed, 5 seed, Jessica Pegula, straight set win. Here's a very interesting one. Jessica Buzas-Monero, a straight set win over 6 seed Marketa Vondrasova. So Vondrasova, the 6 seed, is out of the tournament on the women's side at Wimbledon. You're up to date with tennis and soccer and Royals, NBA free agency. K-State fans, we're excited about Linkon Cure from Goodland coming to K-State, right? Again, embrace the excitement. He's got another year of high school left, so I'm embracing the excitement, but I'm tempering the excitement as well, because he's not part of this team in 2024. It's not until 2025, so we have that to look forward to as a K-State fan, if you are. And that's where we're at with the Sports Today. Sports Ticket brought to you by Kiever Brothers Automotive in Beloit. Big thanks to them for always bringing you the Sports Ticket. And we'll cut out here a little bit early today. We've gone long on a lot of these shows here recently, so we'll go early today on the Sports Ticket. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
State, regional, and national sports talk on your schedule. The Sports Ticket Podcast. Subscribe via Apple, Google, and TuneIn Podcasts or sunflowerstateradio.com.